Some JRPGs try to win you over with story. Others throw 50-hour side quests at you like that's a flex. But then, there are the ones where the combat is the story, where every fight feels like a highlight reel, and the gameplay is so slick it makes you forget you're even grinding. If you're into real-time chaos, flashy combos, and systems that actually respect your reflexes, this is your video. Sakura Wars is one of those franchises that flew under the radar for a lot of Western players, but it's got a legacy in Japan that spans decades. The most recent entry tried to reboot the series with a modern twist, and while it didn't hit every mark perfectly, there's a lot here that deserves attention. You've got a mix of action combat, relationship building, and anime-style drama, all wrapped in a steampunk version of Tokyo, where demons and mechs collide in a bizarre but surprisingly charming way. The combat is real-time and leans more into hack-and-slash territory than the turn-based systems older fans might remember. You control giant steam-powered mechs called spherical armors, taking on waves of demons in fast-paced combo-heavy brawls. It's not exactly deep in the mechanical sense, but it's flashy, responsive, and keeps things moving. One of the coolest elements in combat is the partner system. You're always paired up with one of your teammates during missions, and who you choose actually makes a big difference. Your partner isn't just there for backup. They can jump in with support attacks, boost your movement speed, and even help extend your combos if you're syncing well. The better your relationship with that character, the stronger these effects become. So all those conversations and choices you make outside of battle aren't just for show. There's a special gauge that builds as you fight together, and once it's full, you can trigger a powerful team attack that hits like a truck and usually wipes out anything in your way. And after missions, you can visit the hangar to install upgrades that boost things like attack power, defense, speed, and even support effectiveness. But where the game really doubles down is in its character interactions. Between missions, you spend a lot of time exploring the Imperial Combat Review's theater, talking with your teammates, building bonds, and influencing how well they perform in battle. These relationships aren't just for show. They impact everything from combat performance to story branches. And yeah, it leans heavily into dating sim territory, but that's part of the charm. Visually, it nails that anime aesthetic with bold character designs, vibrant cityscapes, and expressive cutscenes that look like they were pulled straight from a Saturday morning show. Scarlet Nexus doesn't play around. Right from the jump, it throws you into a futuristic war zone where psychics with superhuman powers are humanity's last line of defense. You control either Yuito or Kasane, each with their own storyline and combat style. Yuito goes all in with close-range swordplay, while Kasane uses her daggers with a more tactical and ranged approach. What really sets the game apart is the brainpunk combat system. Instead of just swinging a weapon, you combine your attacks with psychokinesis, hurling objects at enemies, stunning them, and chaining follow-ups. The flow is addictive. You dodge, strike, grab a vending machine with your mind and slam it down like it's nothing. But the real power comes from the SAS system. This lets you borrow abilities from your teammates during battle. One might give you fire attacks, another could make you invisible or let you teleport behind enemies. These borrowed powers are temporary, but when timed right, they turn the battlefield into your playground. You're constantly switching tactics based on enemy types, weaknesses, and available powers. And the enemies? They're not just random monsters. These are twisted, nightmarish creatures called Others, and their designs are seriously messed up. One looks like a bouquet of legs and high heels. Another has a chandelier growing out of its head. It's weird, disturbing, and somehow awesome all at once. And every enemy forces you to think differently. Some rush you, others hang back and spam status effects. So knowing which power to use and when is key to staying alive. Outside of combat, Scarlet Nexus also leans hard into character building and bonding. By spending time with your squad, giving them gifts, and unlocking personal episodes, you enhance their abilities in combat. It's not just for flavor, it directly impacts how effective they are when supporting you in a fight. The game also pushes you to upgrade your skills through the brain map. a giant web of unlockable perks that let you customize your playstyle. Whether you want to focus on pure damage, mobility, or support, there's room to tweak your build. And as the story ramps up, so does the action. Boss fights get more intense, enemies hit harder, and your powers evolve into something way more ridiculous by the end.
That's a big blade. If your body begins to burn with fire, it'll drain your health, so be careful.
No chance!
Brenda! Where are you? Brenda!
Astral Chain wastes no time throwing you into its wild, over-the-top action. From the first mission, it's clear this isn't your average hack and slash. You're not just controlling one character. You're linked to a living weapon called a Legion, and the real magic happens when you learn to fight together. It's like managing a tag team mid-battle, except both fighters are on the field at the same time. You control your character with one stick and your Legion with the other, which sounds overwhelming at first, but quickly becomes second nature. The key is learning how to position both fighters to trap enemies, launch joint attacks, or interrupt incoming strikes. Each Legion has its own skill tree and specialties, like the Sword Legion for balanced offense or the Beast Legion for fast, aggressive flanking. You can also perform sync attacks by timing your strikes with your Legion's moves, triggering powerful animations that deal big damage. And then there's the chain itself, and you can literally wrap it around enemies to immobilize them or slingshot yourself across the battlefield for surprise hits. You're dodging, striking, and setting up combos while commanding your Legion to flank, bind, or pummel enemies from another angle. It feels chaotic at first, but once it clicks, the depth is insane. The game also mixes in detective work and world exploration. You'll scan crime scenes, follow clues, and help civilians in distress between fights. It adds some breathing room and makes the city feel alive, even if the pacing can slow down here and there. Visually, it's stunning. That signature Platinum Games flair is everywhere, with flashy effects, sleek character designs, and massive enemy encounters that always feel like a spectacle. And the soundtrack? It shifts from electronic chaos to orchestral drama depending on the moment, and it fits like a glove.
I've revoked your authority over them. Acting on your own like this. Not like you. What's gotten into you, Akira? These people.
Why? This is...
Yeah, there's no...
Star Ocean 6 doesn't waste your time. Right from the start, it throws you into battles that feel way more intense and dynamic than most people expect from a series that's been around since the 90s. You can fly around the battlefield, dash in midair, ambush enemies from behind, and break their formation before they even know what hit them. It's fast, flashy, and more importantly, it puts you in full control. Each character has their own playstyle that actually feels different. You've got fast strikers, heavy hitters, long-range attackers, and support types with buff or debuff skills. And the real magic is how fluid it is to switch between them. You're not locked into one role, which means you can adapt your strategy on the fly, especially when facing tougher enemies that force you to use everything the system offers. A big standout is the VA system, short for Vanguard Assault. This lets you rush enemies from almost any direction, including midair, creating surprise attacks that break their guard and open up huge damage windows. It's got a cooldown, so you can't spam it, but when used right, it completely changes the flow of battle. Combine that with skill chains, position-based bonuses, and real-time party coordination, and suddenly you're not just button mashing. You're outmaneuvering, baiting, and punishing enemies like it's a fighting game in disguise. There's also real depth in how you build your characters. You've got a skill tree system that's flexible enough to let you focus on specific combos, magic builds, or utility roles. Want a melee bruiser with high crits? Done. Want a ranged caster who stuns enemies and keeps them locked down? Totally doable. It gives you room to experiment. And with a huge roster of characters, replay value is baked in. And yeah, the world isn't just some backdrop. The maps are big, vertical, and filled with optional zones, hidden bosses, and gear to collect.
Thus, I would like to ask that you all join me, celebrating my coronation with your submission. Hold on. Dispatch of these
quick break. If you're still here, first off, you're awesome. And second, drop a comment letting me know which game you think deserves to be in the next part of this video. I check every single one, and yeah, they really help feed the algorithm gods and keep the channel alive with fresh content. Also, if you're not subscribed yet, what are you doing? It's way easier than trying to beat a boss with 1 HP left. And hey, don't forget to check out the deals in our instant gaming link down below. Every time someone clicks and grabs a game, it helps me keep the lights on, the uploads coming, and maybe, just maybe, upgrades my lunch from noodles to something with actual protein. If you've ever played Xenoblade Chronicles 2, you know it doesn't ease you in gently. It throws you into a massive living world full of floating continents, titans the size of cities, and a battle system that looks chaotic but hides a crazy amount of depth. At first glance, it might seem like just another flashy JRPG with anime vibes, but stick with it, and you'll find one of the most layered and rewarding combat systems out there. The heart of it all lies in the blades. Sentient weapons that bond with drivers and completely shape how you fight. Each blade comes with its own weapon type, elemental affinity, and special moves, which means every new blade you unlock opens up brand new strategies. Some focus on raw damage, others on healing or support, and a few are all about locking down enemies with debuffs. And here's the kicker. Even if two blades have the same weapon, their abilities can be totally different, giving you endless ways to build your team. Combat runs in real time, with your character auto-attacking while you manage cooldowns and special skills. It might sound passive, but the real action comes from combo chains. You build up a meter, unleash an art, cancel into another move, and then chain that into a special attack. If you time everything right, you trigger elemental combos that not only deal huge damage, but also weaken enemies for even more devastating follow-ups. And once you learn to stack driver combos, blade combos, and fusion combos on top of each other, battles start feeling like a rhythm game where every beat hits harder than the last. Each party member controls different weapons and roles, and switching between blades mid-fight is the secret sauce. You're constantly adapting to enemy weaknesses, managing aggro, and pulling off chain attacks that feel like a fireworks show. Outside of battle, there's a whole other layer of progression. Blades level up their affinity charts, unlock passive bonuses, and gain new field skills that help with exploration. You'll be digging into menus, optimizing builds, and slowly turning your squad into a wrecking crew. It's dense, yeah, but the payoff is real once it all clicks.
Whoa! What's that? Holy smokes!
Brave Fencer Musashi is one of those games that felt like lightning in a bottle back on the original PlayStation. It wasn't just another action RPG. It was a wild, fast-paced ride with real-time combat that made everything else in the genre feel a little slow by comparison. You played as a cocky, sharp-tongued swordsman yanked from his world to save a kingdom. And right from the start, it was clear this wasn't your typical heroic tale. The combat in Brave Fencer Musashi hits that sweet spot between simplicity and depth. You've got two swords to work with, Fusion and Lumina, and each one brings something different to the table. Lumina handles your heavy-hitting special attacks, while Fusion is all about absorbing enemy skills in real time. That mechanic alone adds a layer of strategy most action RPGs from the era couldn't touch. Instead of just mashing buttons, you're watching enemy patterns, picking the right moment, and stealing abilities to use against them. One fight might have you snatching a fireball spell, while the next lets you grab a healing move or a buff. And because the game doesn't pause for battles, everything unfolds in the same seamless space. Whether you're platforming, solving a puzzle, or throwing down with a mini-boss. You also have to manage your BP, kind of like energy points, which power the skills you absorb. And yeah, keeping Musashi fed is actually part of the gameplay, since hunger affects your ability to heal and use techniques. But what made it stand out even more was how it mixed genres without losing focus. You had classic platforming sections, puzzles baked right into the level design, and even day and night cycles that affected quests and character behavior. The characters were full of charm, the voice acting was ahead of its time, and the humor hit just right without going overboard. It had that rare mix of being goofy and heartfelt, and it never took itself too seriously, which made the emotional beats hit even harder.
found you!
Now let's talk about a game that most people didn't expect to work, but somehow it just clicks. Dragon Quest Heroes takes the charm and personality of a classic JRPG and throws it headfirst into a battlefield full of monsters. No random encounters, no turn-based menus, just real-time chaos where you're wiping out dozens of enemies with every swing. Instead of building a slow party over time, you're handed an all-star lineup of fan-favorite characters from across the Dragon Quest series. Each one plays completely differently. You've got dual-wielders zipping across the screen, heavy hitters dropping AoE slams, and casters lighting up the battlefield with massive spells. And swapping between them mid-fight is seamless, and it's not just for show. Some enemies will steamroll you unless you counter with the right character at the right time. The game also gives you this unique mechanic called monster medals. When you knock out certain monsters, they drop a medal that lets you summon them onto the field like little bodyguards. Some just fight for you, others create barriers, heal your party, or even explode on contact. Then there's the tension system, which builds up as you take and deal damage. Fill the meter and you'll enter high tension mode. You move faster, hit harder, and eventually you'll unleash a massive coup de grace that clears the screen. It's the kind of thing that never gets old. Dragon Quest Heroes nails the power fantasy while still honoring the RPG roots of its franchise. You've got skill trees to customize each character, weapon upgrades, and a hub where you can prep, shop, and talk to your team between battles. And crafting isn't just some optional side gimmick. It's baked into the loop of getting stronger between battles. You collect materials by defeating enemies, opening chests, and completing quests, then bring all that back to the alchemy pot in your base. Then you can forge accessories that boost stats, add resistances, or even give passive effects like increased gold drops or faster skill recovery. And yes, there's a story here too. One that leans into the series' humor and lighthearted tone, while still keeping the stakes high enough to stay invested.
How did this happen?
Hey guys, this is the second video in our series on the best action JRPGs, so I'm gonna leave the first one right here on your screen. Make sure to check it out for even more awesome picks, alright? And don't forget to help me out by subscribing to the channel, dropping a comment on each video, and taking a look at the deals over on Instant Gaming. Every little bit helps me keep the uploads rolling. And maybe even buy my wife a small gift so she doesn't get too mad at how much time I spend talking about video games.